The day leadership lost its meaning. Some people believe leadership begins the moment others decide to follow. They are wrong. Leadership begins the moment someone chooses to serve. In every generation, there are people who chase power, people who chase recognition, people who chase titles. Yet history remembers very few of them. Why? Because people rarely remember those who stood above them. They remember those who stood beside them. A title can command attention, but it can never command loyalty. Authority can force obedience, but it can never earn trust. And trust is the invisible bridge between a leader and every heart willing to walk beside them. Imagine a captain standing safely on the shore while ordering his crew into a violent storm. Would anyone willingly follow him? Now imagine another captain who steps onto the deck first, who feels the rain before everyone else, who faces the waves before asking anyone to lift a single rope. Without saying a word, he has already spoken. That is leadership. The greatest leaders have never asked, "How many people work for me?" They asked, "How many lives depend on me?" That single question changes everything, because the purpose of leadership has never been to collect followers. Its purpose has always been to create safety, to create hope, to create courage. When fear whispers louder than faith, every organization, every family, every nation is quietly shaped by one invisible force. Not money, not technology, not talent. Leadership. When leadership becomes selfish, people stop believing. When people stop believing, they stop caring. And when people stop caring, even the strongest organizations begin to collapse from the inside. Not because they lacked intelligence, but because they lost something far more valuable. They lost trust. Real leadership is rarely loud. It does not demand applause. It does not seek the brightest spotlight. Like the roots beneath a mighty oak, its greatest work is often invisible. Yet without those unseen roots, the tallest tree falls at the first powerful wind. Perhaps that is why the world has never suffered from a shortage of managers. It has suffered from a shortage of leaders. Leaders who protect before they command, who listen before they speak, who serve before they expect to be served. Because in the end, people may forget what you built. They may even forget what you achieved. But they will never forget how safe they felt when they walked beside you. And maybe, just maybe, that is where true leadership has always begun. The circle of safety. There is an invisible feeling that cannot be measured, cannot be purchased, and cannot be demanded. Yet, every great team, every great family, every great company has it. It is called safety. Not the safety of walls, locks, or security cameras, but the safety of knowing that someone will stand beside you when everything begins to fall apart. Picture a fire raging through a forest. Every creature runs. Every instinct screams. Save yourself. Now imagine one person running in the opposite direction. Not because he is fearless, but because someone is still trapped inside. That is the heartbeat of leadership. The greatest leaders do not build followers. They build a circle of safety, a place where people no longer waste their energy protecting themselves because they know someone else is protecting them. Think about the moments when you performed at your very best. Was it because someone threatened you? Or was it because someone believed in you before you believed in yourself? Fear can force performance for a moment. Trust creates excellence for a lifetime. This is why some organizations grow stronger during difficult times, while others collapse under the weight of the smallest challenge. The difference is rarely intelligence. It is rarely money. It is rarely talent. The difference is whether people feel safe enough to tell the truth, safe enough to make mistakes, safe enough to ask for help, safe enough to become their best selves. A leader who creates fear may gain silence, but silence is dangerous because silence hides problems. Silence hides innovation. Silence hides suffering. And eventually, silence destroys organizations from within. But when people feel safe, they speak, they create, they challenge ideas, they solve impossible problems, not because they have to, but because they want to. Imagine trying to build a cathedral while every worker is afraid the stones will fall on his own head. No masterpiece has ever been built inside fear. Every masterpiece begins inside trust. The strongest leaders understand something that others never do. People are not machines. They are human beings. Human beings do not give their best ideas to those they fear. They give their best to those who make them feel seen, heard, valued, protected. And perhaps that is the greatest paradox of leadership. The more power a leader possesses, the less that power should ever be felt. Because the greatest leaders are remembered, not for making people afraid, but for making people fearless. When people feel safe, they stop surviving and begin creating. When they begin creating, ordinary teams become extraordinary. And that is where greatness is born. The price of putting others first. There is a question few leaders dare to ask themselves. Not, how much power do I have? But, what am I willing to sacrifice for the people who trust me? History has never celebrated those who stood safely behind others. It remembers those who walked first into uncertainty, who accepted responsibility before recognition, who carried the burden long before they received the applause. Real leadership has always demanded a price. Sometimes that price is comfort. Sometimes it is sleep. Sometimes it is popularity. And sometimes it is standing completely alone while everyone else waits to see whether you will fall. The easiest decision is the one that protects yourself. The hardest is the one that protects everyone else. That is where true leaders are born. Imagine a bridge shaking violently above a deep canyon. People hesitate. Fear spreads. No one moves. Then, one person takes the first step. Not because the bridge became stronger, but because courage became contagious. Leadership works the same way. People rarely borrow confidence from speeches. They borrow it from example. The strongest leaders never ask others to endure what they refuse to endure themselves. They understand that respect cannot be demanded. It must be deserved. Again and again. Every single day. There is something extraordinary about human nature. People can forgive mistakes. They can forgive failure. They can even forgive weakness, but they rarely forgive selfishness, because selfish leadership break something invisible: trust. And once trust begins to crack, every conversation, every decision, every promise becomes heavier. Service is not weakness. It is the highest expression of strength, because serving others requires something that power alone can never produce: humility. The greatest leaders never ask, "What can people do for me?" Instead, they quietly ask, "What can I remove so others can become greater than I am?" That is why their influence does not end when they leave the room. It continues inside the people they chose to protect. A title can disappear overnight. Success can fade. Money can vanish. But the life you changed will continue long after your name has been forgotten. Perhaps that has always been the true reward of leadership: not being remembered as the most powerful person in the room, but as the person who made everyone else stronger. Because in the end, great leaders do not build followers. They build more leaders. The leader who eats last. There is a quiet moment, almost invisible, that reveals the true character of every leader. It does not happen during celebration. It does not happen when success is easy. It happens when there is not enough time, not enough resources, not enough hope, and someone must decide who goes first. The world admires those who stand at the front of the line, but history honors those who willingly move to the back. There is a reason the greatest leaders eat last, not because they are expected to, but because they understand that leadership has never been a privilege. It has always been a responsibility. Imagine a long table. Every seat is filled. The food arrives. Everyone is hungry. The leader looks around, not at the meal, but at the people. Has everyone received enough? Is anyone forgotten? Is someone silently pretending they are not hungry, so another person can eat? Only after every question has been answered does the leader take the first bite. Not because food matters less, but because people matter more. This principle extends far beyond a dinner table. It lives inside every decision. A leader takes the blame before giving it, shares the credit before claiming it, carries the pressure before passing it, and absorbs uncertainty before allowing fear to spread. People notice far more than leaders imagine. They remember who disappeared when life became difficult, and they remember who remained standing when everyone else was searching for someone to blame. Leadership is not measured by how loudly you speak. It is measured by how quietly others feel protected. There will always be moments when sacrifice goes unnoticed. No applause, no recognition, no reward, only silence. Yet, those unseen moments are often the ones that define an entire legacy. The strongest leaders understand that influence cannot grow inside comfort. It grows inside sacrifice, inside patience, inside countless decisions, where someone else's future becomes more important than your own convenience. People do not give their loyalty to perfection. They give it to sincerity, to consistency, to someone whose actions remain the same, whether anyone is watching or not. A leader who protects people during difficult seasons will never need to demand commitment. Commitment arrives naturally where trust has taken root. And perhaps That is why the greatest leaders are rarely remembered for what they owned. They are remembered for what they gave away: their comfort, their certainty, their strength, their time, their lives. Because leadership has never been about standing above people. It has always been about standing between your people and the storm, and quietly saying, if someone must carry this burden, let it be me. That is the moment a manager becomes a leader. Trust is built, one choice at a time. Trust is a strange thing. It cannot be bought. It cannot be borrowed. It cannot be demanded. And once it is broken, it remembers every crack. A leader may spend 10 years building confidence, yet one selfish decision, one broken promise, one moment of choosing himself over his people can erase what took years to create. That is the silent weight every leader carries. Not the weight of authority, but the weight of expectation. Because every pair of eyes is asking the same unspoken question. Can I trust you when everything starts falling apart? Trust is never built during easy days. Anyone can smile when the sun is shining. Anyone can promise when success is certain. But storms have a way of revealing what sunshine carefully hides. Imagine a lighthouse. Night after night, it stands alone. The waves crash against it. The wind tries to tear it down. No applause, no audience, no celebration. Yet somewhere, far beyond the darkness, a ship changes its course because one light refused to disappear. That is trust, quiet, patient, invisible, yet powerful enough to save lives. People do not expect their leaders to know everything. They expect them to tell the truth, to admit mistakes, to remain calm when panic becomes contagious. Because honesty creates confidence, while perfection creates distance. Every promise is a brick. Every action is another. Every sacrifice, another. Slowly, almost unnoticed, a bridge begins to appear. A bridge, strong enough to carry hope across uncertainty. But trust also works in reverse. Every lie removes a stone. Every excuse widens the crack. Every selfish choice weakens the foundation. Until one day, people stop crossing. Not because the bridge collapsed, but because they no longer believe it will hold. The greatest leaders understand that trust is not protected by words. It is protected by consistency, doing the right thing, even when no one will ever know. Character is simply the habit of making the same honorable choice over and over and over again, until integrity becomes your identity. The strongest teams are never built on fear, nor on talent alone. They are built on thousands of ordinary moments where someone quietly proved they could be trusted. Perhaps that is why the most valuable currency a leader will ever possess is not influence, not success, not wealth. It is trust. Because when trust exists, people give more than effort. They give their loyalty, their creativity, their courage, and sometimes even their future. The question is no longer whether people believe in your vision. The real question is this: do they believe in you? Because once they do, they will walk beside you through storms that others would never dare to enter. Courage is contagious fear moves quickly. One anxious voice can silence an entire room. One uncertain decision can shake the confidence of hundreds. But courage moves differently. It does not shout. It does not demand attention. It simply appears. And somehow, everyone standing nearby begins to breathe a little easier. That is the mystery of leadership. People rarely become brave because circumstances improve. They become brave because someone else chose courage first. Imagine a mountain expedition. The wind is relentless. Snow blinds every path. The summit has disappeared behind thick clouds. No one knows whether taking another step is wisdom or madness. Then the guide moves forward, not because he can see the entire journey, but because he trusts the next step. Leadership has always worked, one step at a time. Not 100, just the next one. People do not expect leaders to eliminate uncertainty. They expect them to remain steady inside it. Because confidence is not believing that nothing will go wrong. Confidence is believing that together, nothing will stop us from finding another way. Every generation faces storms that seem impossible. Economic uncertainty, failure, loss, disappointment. Moments when even hope begins to whisper instead of speak. It is during these moments that leadership becomes visible, not through speeches, but through presence. A calm leader can quiet 1,000 fears without saying a single word, because peace is communicated long before it is spoken. Have you ever noticed how children search for their parents' faces during danger? Not because their parents can stop every storm, but because if they see courage, they believe everything will be all right. Adults are no different. Only the storms have changed. True leaders carry something invisible. Hope, not blind optimism, not empty promises, but a quiet conviction that tomorrow is still worth fighting for. Hope is the oxygen of every great team. Without it, talent suffocates, creativity fades, dreams become smaller, people stop trying. Not because they cannot succeed, but because they no longer believe success is possible. That is why courage is one of the greatest gifts a leader can offer. Not because courage removes fear, but because courage teaches others that fear does not have to decide what happens next. Years from now, people may forget every meeting, every strategy, every presentation, but they will remember how one person stood calmly when everyone else was overwhelmed, how one voice replaced panic with purpose, how one decision changed the direction of countless lives. Because courage has never been the absence of fear. It has always been the decision that something else matters more. And when one leader chooses courage, an entire generation finds the strength to follow. The legacy no one can see. There are two kinds of leaders: those who spend their lives building monuments to themselves, and those who spend their lives building people. The first are remembered for a season, the second for generations. It is tempting to measure success by numbers: the size of a company, the balance in a bank account, the applause after a great achievement. But none of these tell the whole story, because the greatest victories leave no visible monument. They continue inside human lives. Imagine An old oak tree. Its branches stretch toward the sky. Its trunk stands unmoved through countless storms. People admire its strength, its beauty, its size, yet few stop to think about the roots. Hidden, silent, invisible. Without them, the tree would never have survived its first winter. Leadership is much the same. The greatest work is often unseen. A conversation that restores confidence, a decision that protects a family, a word that prevents someone from giving up, a moment that changes the direction of an entire life. Most leaders will never witness the full impact of their kindness, because influence travels farther than the eye can see. A lesson shared today may inspire someone 20 years from now. A single act of integrity may become another person's standard for the rest of their life. That is legacy, not what you leave behind, but what you leave inside people. The greatest teachers never see every student succeed. The greatest parents never witness every lesson bear fruit. The greatest leaders rarely know how many lives they quietly transformed. Yet transformation happens all the same. Every generation inherits more than wealth, more than buildings, more than technology. It inherits values, courage, character, hope or fear, selfishness, division. Every leader is writing the future, whether they realize it or not. One decision made with integrity can echo through decades. One selfish choice can do the same. That is why leadership has never been about today alone. It is always a conversation with tomorrow. Ask yourself, if everything you built disappeared tomorrow, what would remain? Would people still carry your example? Would they still choose honesty because they learned it from you? Would they still protect others because once you protected them? If the answer is yes, then nothing has truly been lost, because your greatest work was never the organization, the project, or the title. It was the people. In the end, every leader leaves two legacies: the one written on paper and the one written inside hearts. Time will erase the first, but the second may continue long after your name has become a whisper in history. And perhaps that has always been the highest purpose of leadership: not to build a successful life, but to build successful lives around you. The strength to stand alone. There comes a moment in every leader's journey when the crowd falls silent, not because they agree, but because they are waiting to see whether conviction is stronger than comfort. Leadership is never tested when everyone applauds. It is tested when doing the right thing costs everything. History has always been shaped by ordinary people who made extraordinary decisions, not because they were fearless, but because their principles became louder than their fears. Imagine a ship caught in the middle of a violent storm. The waves rise like mountains. The sky offers no direction. The compass shakes. The crew looks not at the ocean, but at one person, the captain. In that moment, his greatest responsibility is not to calm the sea. No one can. His responsibility is to calm the hearts of those who believe their future rests in his hands. Every leader will eventually face a decision that no one else can make. No advisor, no committee, no applause, only silence and conscience. These moments define a lifetime, because character is revealed when no voice remains except your own. It is easy to follow popular opinion. It is easy to choose the safer path. It is easy to protect your reputation. But greatness has never lived inside easy decisions. The strongest leaders understand that loneliness is sometimes the price of integrity. Not everyone will understand your vision. Not everyone will support your choices. Not everyone will remain beside you. And that must never become the reason to abandon what is right. A compass does not change its direction because the storm becomes stronger. Neither should a leader. People watch leaders far more closely than leaders realize. They study your reactions, your patience, your honesty, your silence, because every action quietly answers a question they never ask aloud. Can I trust you when a pressure becomes unbearable? The answer is rarely found in speeches. It is found in decisions. Leadership is choosing principles over popularity, purpose over comfort, responsibility over recognition, again and again and again. Years later, people may forget what the crisis was about, but they will remember the person who stood firm when everyone else was searching for an easier road. Because true leadership is not measured by how many people stand behind you. It is measured by whether you are willing to stand alone until others find the courage to stand beside you. And perhaps every great leader must first learn one unforgettable lesson. The strongest oak does not become strong because the wind never came. It becomes strong because it refused to break. Leaders create more leaders. Power has a strange effect on people. Some hold it tightly, afraid that sharing it will make them smaller. Others understand a timeless truth. The flame that lights another candle loses nothing. The greatest leaders never measure success by the number of people who depend on them. They measure success by the number of people who no longer need them. That is the difference between control and leadership. Control creates followers. Leadership creates leaders. Imagine a master craftsman working inside an old workshop. Every movement is precise. Every detail speaks of decades of experience. A young apprentice stands quietly, watching, listening, learning. The master could keep every secret to himself. He could remain the only expert, the only name people remember. Instead, he places his finest tools into the apprentice's hands. Not because the apprentice is ready, but because he never will be unless someone trusts him first. This is how greatness survives. Knowledge is not protected by hiding it. It is protected by passing it on. Too many leaders fear being replaced. The greatest leaders prepare to be replaced because they understand that leadership was never about being indispensable. It was about making others capable. Every conversation is an opportunity to teach. Every mistake is an opportunity to mentor. Every challenge is an opportunity to strengthen someone else's confidence. Real leadership asks a different question. Not, how can I become more important. But how can I help someone else discover their own greatness? There is something beautiful about watching someone grow beyond what they believed was possible, not because you carried them, but because you believed in them long enough for them to believe in themselves. One day, every leader will leave. Retirement, a new journey, or simply the passing of time. The office will belong to someone else. The meetings will continue. The world will keep moving. The only question that remains is this: who is ready because you were here? If no one can continue your work, then perhaps you built your position, not your people. A true leader does not fear another person's success. He celebrates it, because every new leader becomes proof that his own leadership was genuine. The strongest forests do not grow from one giant tree. They grow because countless seeds were allowed to become trees themselves. Perhaps that is the final responsibility of every leader: to leave behind not followers who remember your name, but leaders who continue your values, your courage, your integrity, your example. Because when one leader creates another, leadership stops being a position. It becomes a legacy that no generation can ever destroy. The last to eat, the first to be remembered. There is an old truth, so simple that the world often overlooks it. The strongest person is not always the one who stands at the front. Sometimes the strongest person is the one who quietly remains until everyone else has safely arrived. Leadership was never created to elevate one life. It was created to protect many. Throughout history, kingdoms have risen, empires have fallen, companies have become giants, only to disappear with time. Yet one principle has survived. Every generation, people will always follow those who genuinely care about them. Not because they are perfect, not because they know every answer, but because they make others feel safe enough to become the best versions of themselves. Imagine standing on the edge of a vast ocean at sunrise. Behind you are countless footprints. Some are deep. Some have already begun to disappear. Ahead, the waves erase every trace of where you once stood. At first, it seems as though nothing will remain. But then, you turn around. You notice people walking farther than they ever believed they could. Not because you carried them, but because once, when they were afraid, you simply walked first. That is leadership, not creating dependence. Creating confidence, not collecting followers. Creating builders, teachers, protectors, leaders. The greatest reward will never be a title hanging on a wall, nor a corner office, nor recognition from strangers. The greatest reward is invisible. It is seeing someone else become courageous because you once chose to be courageous. Perhaps years from now, someone will protect a young employee. A father will choose patience instead of anger. A mother will replace fear with hope. A friend will stay when everyone else walks away. None of them may ever know your name. Yet a small part of your character will continue living inside theirs. Influence travels far beyond our lifetime. Kindness echoes. Integrity echoes. Sacrifice echoes. Love echoes. Leadership echoes. The world does not desperately need more people who seek power. It needs more people who accept responsibility. More people who choose service before status. More people who understand that real strength is measured by the number of lives made stronger because they were there. One day, someone will take your place. That day will come. For every leader, the question has never been whether your chapter will end. The question has always been what story will continue because you wrote it. So, if you ever find yourself at the head of the table, remember this. Look around. Make sure everyone else has enough. Protect before you command. Listen before you speak. Serve before you expect to be served. And when the final plate is placed before you, eat last. Not because tradition demands it, but because your people will never forget the leader who always put them first. For in the end, the greatest leaders are never remembered for how high they climbed. They are remembered for how many people they lifted while climbing. And perhaps that is the only legacy worthy of a leader. End of book. If this journey changed the way you think about leadership, the next step is discovering why great leaders inspire people to believe before they ask them to follow. Our next cinematic audiobook, Start with Why. Until then, keep learning, keep leading, and wherever life takes you, never forget the greatest leaders always choose to eat last.